For starters, Mr. President, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, you revealed and unveiled your economic plan today for rural Americans. We talk about rural Nevada. There are a lot of us out there. And small business is a big issue in Nevada. I talked to some ranchers and farmers in Gardnerville yesterday after reviewing this report, and their concern is more government money coming in, perhaps more federal regulations. They want to know, are there strings attached?
No, actually, the great thing about what we're seeing is progress in rural America is based primarily on the fact that we've drastically increased exports to other countries. And one of my main missions has been to go out there and open up markets that have been closed to outstanding American agricultural products. Commodity prices are pretty strong. All those things we want to continue to build on. The Small Business Initiative really says at a local level, the SBA partners with private industry to come up with an investment pool that can go into small businesses. Taxpayers, this doesn't cost them anything because usually these investments end up making money. But it gives the opportunity for small businesses to get access to financing at favorable rates that they normally wouldn't have gotten, and that's going to be able to create jobs in rural communities. So we're really pleased about the progress we've made. I promised that we were going to do this last summer at a rural summit in Iowa, and we set a goal, and we've actually already exceeded that goal. We're looking at another $2 billion over the next 5 years of investment in rural America.
Okay, let's talk about interest rates now. All-time low, averaging 3.67% for a 30-year fixed mortgage.
Right.
You saw the Kellers a couple of weeks ago in Reno.
Great visit.
Great visit. I'm glad to hear that. Unlike the Kellers, though, a lot of people don't have access to either government-backed loans or they cannot refinance. They say the banks are not working with us. What is your administration doing to ensure that all responsible homeowners have access to these rates?
We have a very specific proposal, and all that needs to happen is Congress needs to pass it. At a relatively modest cost, Congress could make sure that every single American whose homes are underwater, that they could refinance and take advantage of these historically low rates. And like that family that I met in Reno a couple of weeks ago, the Kellers, they could be saving $3,000 a year on their mortgage. And ultimately, this would be good for the housing market, but it's also good for all businesses because if consumers have $3,000 extra in their pockets, that's $3,000 they can spend at a business, buying a computer or going to a restaurant or buying a new coat. It will end up boosting the economy as a whole. So Congress needs to act. There's nothing that should be that complicated about it. Unfortunately, these days they haven't been getting as much done as we'd like to see.
We're running out of time.
Yeah.
You grew much support from the young voters in Nevada and also voters who cited the economy as their top concern in 2008. If you fast forward 4 years, half of our college graduates, the new grads, are coming into the work world either underemployed or unemployed. How do you win those voters back, and how do you win Nevada in 2012?
Well, look, we've gone through the worst financial crisis and economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've made significant progress. People obviously recognize we need to make more, and young voters in particular are out there struggling, recent grads. A couple of things that we need to do. First of all, make sure that they're not loaded up with too much debt, which is why we've been so insistent on asking Congress to ensure that their student loan rates don't get doubled. And we've got to continue to expand more opportunities like the ones we're talking about in rural Nevada so that there are more jobs created and these young people have more opportunity. But we're making steady progress, and ultimately the election is going to be a choice between a vision that says we're all in this together and we're making investments in the future on things like student loans or refinancing, and a vision that says everybody's looking out for themselves. And the American people and the people in Nevada, I think, are going to make the right decision.
Quickly. Who is going to win the NBA final?
Both teams look terrific, and I'm looking forward to a good series. Hopefully it'll go 7 games, but I can't make a prediction right now. They both look pretty tough.
All right. Mr. President, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet.